Yeah, let's just get started. So hello everyone, welcome to demo night with three hackathon participants. Today we have three projects with us. The first one I'm gonna present is Findtruman.io. It is one of the in our GameFi segment, and the second one will be Feedio. It is an R code the app, and final presenters will be Planet X, who have three teams with us today. So I'm pretty excited. After each team has 15 minutes to present, and after that, there will be a Q&A sessions ready there. So if you have questions during the live, please take down the notes, and after 45 minutes, I will allow some space for you to have plenty of time to ask your questions. Yeah, by the way, I am a BD manager from NGD, Neil. I will be host of this event tonight. So why now let's just begin with Findtruman. A little bit introduction. This is a very experienced team building a Web2 GameFi already with 30 million users in China. And this new platform they are creating is a co-creation platform in Web3 that provide infrastructure and focus on user-generated content so as to produce stories and other interesting content. So people know it as alternative reality games. And the team is trying to build something with Neo ecosystem, like to generate story around Neo and the Matrix, and making the creation more fun and economically incentive rewarded. So let's welcome Leon from Findtruman project. Tell us more about this project, Leon.
Okay. Hello, Catherine. Hello, everyone. I'm Leon from Findtruman. We are very glad to be able to present our project in the Neo Hackathon demo presentation day. We try to build a co-creation platform in Web3 that provides infrastructure and also focus on user-generated content to produce stories and other interesting content in this project. Our team of Findtruman is from a Web2 online and offline lab. Lab means live action role play game. We have a Web2 online and offline lab game application with nearly 30 million users and 100 live action studios, which is offline all around Asia, and more than 500 authors and creators in our contract, more than 20,000 story copyrights in our Web2 applications. The Chinese lab game has its own economic system, which includes different roles in these ecosystems. The first role is the professional writers who create stories and interesting content. The second role is intermediate publishers who try to search for story and content of good quality, and they find ways to sell this content to different offline studio owners. And the third role is the offline studio owners who try to attract customers, especially teenagers at about 20 years old, to play the game with their friends in these studios. Usually each play has about 4 to 6 players. So it is a game between friends or between family. However, in this whole business chain, the professional writer or the professional content creators only get a very small part of the whole economic benefits around the ecosystem. This is something we try to change in the traditional Web 2 applications. We try to use Web 3 technology, which may give us more opportunities to change this situation. And also, we would like to benefit more to the final customers or the teenagers. They have tried a lot. They have contributed a lot to the participation of these games. So we believe the professional writers and the content creators and the final customers need to receive more from the whole ecosystem, and they need to get more incentives. This is the main motivation of our team to build this project, the Findtruman project, by using Web3 technology. And here is a graph which demonstrates what we would like to do in the Findtruman project. Based on the blockchain technology, we will build the Findtruman co-creation protocol, which includes several tools like NFT voting snapshot, NFT staking pools, UGC equipment NFTs, and some other more tools will be developed in this protocol. With this protocol, we can further build the co-creation platform in which we will transfer our Web2 writers into this platform, this co-creation platform. And these writers will initiate their own story. And the co-creation procedure of the story will be made between these professional writers and also the community members in our Findtruman project. And at the end of this procedure, we have a fun story or fun IP with the first fans. Then we can go to the next step, which is the commercialization stage of this story. There are several different methods through which we can we can make a profit from these stories. The first method is our UGC platform, in which these writers can transfer these stories in content, in text or in image. They can change them into 3D scenarios, and they can attract the public users to play these games in this platform. This is the first way to do the commercialization of the content of the stories. And the second way is to build studios or build an interesting building in different metaverse lands like Sandbox or Decentraland, and attract public users, public players to play in these games. And also there are another way which can bridge the content back into the Web2 system, which is we can transfer this stories, this content into Web2 applications and also offline studios to serve Web2 users and offline users. Finally, we can create economical benefits through these three methods of commercialization. And all these kind of commercialization will give us the opportunity to reward the story writers and the community members through certain incentives in this platform. This is the main idea of the project. Also, we have a roadmap, and this is our 3-year roadmap. We plan to develop the co-creation platform and a UGC platform with complete ecosystem of storytellers and community members to finally build an open metaverse theater at the end of the 2024. This is our general objective we would like to achieve at the end of 2024. The value of the Findtruman Genesis NFT, we call it FTG, includes different aspects. The first is governance, and we also have rewards to the users, to the NFT holders. They can also play games, and they can use the equipment. They can use the tools freely to create content, to create stories and UGC studio and scenarios in our platform. All these are free for NFT holders, our FTG holders. Also, we will create some offline experience, which means the NFT holders can play the game in our offline studios, in our different cities studios. This is the main value of the FTG. We have a team of 12 persons, and we do collabs with nearly 40 different communities in the crypto and NFT. We have currently 13,000 followers in Twitter and 13,000 members in our Discord servers. This is the main idea of this project, and we have built our first version based on the 3D scenario, and all these scenario are constructed on the N3 technology. This is the main entry of our project, and we have built three 3D scenario already built for users, and they can write a story and they can play these games through these 3D scenarios. Firstly, we encourage community members to write a story according to this scene, and we will select some high quality story and rebuild the scenario according to the selected storylines, and then we can open it to public users to play. Once the user have played them, they can get the corresponding badges minted in N3 blockchain. And we want to let the community members to have an experience about the idea of co-creation. And they can also see what the result of their creation, and the result of the creation can also be played by other users, by other players through this first version of Findtruman. We need to firstly connect the wallet of Neoline to be able to enter the game and write the story. The write story button here will guide us to a link in which all the settings of the environment is not fixed, which means users or writers can change the elements of the environment, and they can also modify the storyline. Here is a call for story letter, which describe a basic storyline or basic environment elements in this scenario. Once we enter this scenario, there are a lot of objects in which with which we can interact. And for example, there's some hamburgers, and maybe users can players or writers can create some clues here, and they can try to interact with different objects. And the content of stories and the different clues are open to the writer to create their own story. And once they have finished their story, they can fill in this formula and submit their story. They need to fill in their story name. They need to fill in their story outline, details of the case, detail of the clues and the props, and dialogues with NPC, because a lot of NPCs exist in this scene. So they can also create different dialogues with these NPCs, and more details can be written here. So after finishing the creation of the story, they can submit the story, and we will select, for example, one or two very good storyline, and we will rebuild the environment so that other people can, other players can go into this scenario to play the game. So, for example, I'm a public user and I can click the play button to be able to play the story. So what I will say is already created a story with a fixed background of the story, which is about a murder happened in this hotel. And the task of this player is to find out the killer of this murder and also submit an analysis of the what happened and who is the killer. This is the task given to the player to finish. So this is the story. Okay. This is the background of the story describing okay, this is another scenario. The same idea can be used here. The first step is we open this scenario to the writers and they create some basic storylines, and we will rebuild the story. We will rebuild the scenario, and they can find some clues. Users can find some clues to have more information about what happened. And the whole idea is to finish the task and find out the killer of the murder. This is the whole idea. So this is the second scenario we created. Another scenario we created is around the lake, in which we can interact with these NPCs, and there's dialogues which give us some information about who passed and what's happening, and who is, but maybe the killer of this murder. So this is the three different scenario we created, and all this information about the storyline, about the analysis of the report are recorded in the new N3 blockchain. And this is our first version of the platform, and more co-creation approaches will be developed in the future to make it better. And we believe that this kind of product will be the future in the Web3 community, because it enables a lot of participation of community members, and there are different ideas will emerge from the community, and the strength of all these different community members and the writers co-creation will give us a very beautiful story and a very interesting interesting games to play. Thanks for your attention, and I hope you like our Findtruman project.
Thank you, Leon. Thank you for your presentation. This is really amazing about this whole project and the scenarios you bring us. And Neil is really creative community, and I think you already have a good ride with us, and we expecting more interesting content on your platform. And for more questions about Findtruman, so everyone stay tuned, and after two presentations you have the chance to ask Leon for more. And next one is Kinshuk. Kinshuk, are you there? Are you prepared?
Yes.
Sure. Great. Kinshuk is the second presenter, and he is going to present us the project named Feedio. Feedio is an Oracle project. Everybody know Neo has its native project, and Kinshuk even better build something on top of that. So what he is building is an aggregator for independent and reliable oracles. So every DApps can have access to that platform, and Kinshuk have designed a very sustainable way to operate it. He made a calculations of the gas which need per monthly and create an NFT for subscription. So this could be a very democratic way to keep the price feed going. And moving forward, he also built an economic model, and in the future there will be governance token over it. So Kinshuk, are you ready?
Yes. Thanks, Catherine, for the introduction. And I must say, amazing project. So it's really difficult to follow up after that. But yeah, let me just share my screen and we can deep dive into what we have built. So before I begin, I also have Pompita from my team. So we both have worked together in building Feedio. So as Catherine mentioned, it's a decentralized and reliable price feed platform. Now, before we begin to explain what we have built, we would like to spend a couple of minutes on what the problem we are trying to solve, right? So as Catherine mentioned, Neo has native oracles, and you can always make a API call and retrieve prices, right? And on the other side, you have multiple DeFi apps, and pretty much like most of the DeFi apps would require like a real-time price updates to their smart contracts to, let's say, manage liquidity or keep their trading platforms up and running, right? So the challenge there is if you have to make real-time calls, let's say even at a per minute frequency, the charges sort of go quite high, right? Because I mean, you are making an Oracle transaction and you would probably make an API call. So what we have tried to do here is try to abstract all these particular problems away from the DApp developer and managed it on our own side so that they can just focus on building the business logic for their DeFi app, and we can completely focus on giving them reliable and real-time price information for various crypto and other tokens, right? So that's a brief background about what the problem we are trying to solve. And now coming to what we have built. So this is a website we have put up. So as I mentioned, so these are the key elements of our project. It's reliable, of course, in the sense that we are aggregating data not just from one platform, but we are doing it from 4 different platforms and getting a weighted average price at each instant. So that makes it highly reliable. So even if, let's say, one of the providers are down or not working and giving the correct price information, the end users or the smart contracts will not be affected, right? And of course, real time. So our focus is that we keep making the API calls and provide real-time prices, and the cost will be justified because as an ecosystem, obviously Neo will continue to grow and there'll be a lot of DeFi apps. So we intend, and that is our vision, that we become the sole provider of price information for all these DeFi apps. So that's a pretty big ask because obviously financial applications are sensitive to price information. So that is something we'll be wary of. And cost effective, obviously we touched upon it a bit. And what we have done here is for the access to these price feeds, we have kept a separate NFT So you have to purchase that NFT, and so once the smart contract from where you are calling has ownership of that NFT, then they will get, let's say, access to the price feeds for a particular duration of time, depending on how much money they have spent, or depending on the rate we have published, right? Of course, multiple tokens are supported. And another important piece here is the platform focus. So what it means here is that we don't want to be the exclusive folks who are providing the price information, but we want to provide a platform which can aggregate or include in other providers as well. And eventually the incentivization would move to all the participants who are providing the price information. So for this particular hackathon project, we ourselves have built the providers and to keep the end-to-end project running. But of course, like as we move forward, we would love to have more participation where people would provide reliable price information. So that's a bit of an intro in terms of what we have done. I'll spend a bit of time on the architecture. So unfortunately, I don't have like fancy graphics or 3D characters. So it's a middleware project. So it will be slightly technical, but I'll try to keep it at a very high level and simplify this. Right. So this is the overall architecture. On the right side of this line is the traditional Web 2 world with backend servers. And on the left side of this line is where the Neo part comes in, or the blockchain side comes in, right? So on the I'll start with the extreme right, and we'll move towards the left to see how this complete project is sort of built. Right. So on the extreme right, you have multiple price feed providers. So as I mentioned, we ourselves have built two different price feed providers, but going forward, we would encourage more participants to join in. So what is the role of a price feed provider is to like fetch or aggregate data across different systems and give a reliable data point at a particular instant of time on demand. Right, so that's a short way to put it. Now, the two providers we have built are, so these are just APIs. So I'll just try to show the responses. So this is the first provider that we have built. So as you can see, you are getting the gas price at this point. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, Neo, Cardano, Chainlink. So multiple tokens we have supported. Now, obviously, you would ask where this data is coming from. So what we have done is we have aggregated data across CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, and Binance Exchange APIs. So we have like fetched the data of these tokens from these three sources and then average them out to return a final price for this particular provider, right? And the second provider that we have built is utilizes Chainlink's price feeds. So Chainlink is again a similar Oracle project that is quite popular in the Ethereum and Ethereum-like ecosystems. So they also have their price feeds where multiple providers are like running and providing information. So we have actually like integrated with their smart contracts to retrieve the price information. So these are the price data you are getting for the same tokens, right? And finally, coming back to the architecture, we have the primary app, which will call all these multiple registered providers at, let's say, every interval that we are polling, and then aggregate the data. So you have a weighted average of all these providers. And then we will check that whether a threshold has crossed, because writing on chain is also an expensive process. So we have tried to sort of optimize the cost front. So only if the price has increased or decreased by a certain threshold will we write the price on chain. So with a certain threshold, we are ensuring that we are providing an optimal source. as well as we are ensuring that the price will not deviate beyond that point, right? So all these computations are happening on this primary app server, and which also takes care of the reliability part. Now, let's say price feed provider 1 is down. So it will real-time scale the value of price feed provider 2 and provide it, right? So of course, there are checks and balances there as well, because sometimes it may happen that one provider can skew the data significantly. So we do have thresholds and controls there, but finally, the primary app is supposed to aggregate data, call these price providers, compute the weighted average, and write the data on chain to the Feedio primary smart contract. So this is a dedicated smart contract that we have built for the project, which will contain the price information for the supported tokens. And of course, since floating point operations are difficult to manage, so we do like the decimal computations, and we'll like pass on that information as well, that how many decimals are we supporting for a particular token. And this is the smart contract which the subscribed DApps, like whoever wants to access these data, will need to talk to this primary smart contract, given the fact that they have to have the subscription access NFT, right? So which is a separate contract that we have built. So this roughly sums up the overall project. So it has multiple modules. I showed you the price feeds. Now I'll just go through the primary smart contract, which aggregates the data. So here you have the update token price, which the app will call on every interval. And then this is the method which the subscribers will call, like get me the latest token price for one of the supported tokens, be it NEO or gas or Bitcoin. So they'll pass on the string as a parameter, and they will get the price information back, right? So, and this is the NFT contract. So we have designed the access pass for the smart contract. So this is the NFT that the subscriber has to have, and these can be minted from the client app that we have created. So this is the client app. So all this data that you are seeing here is actually coming from the data that is written on chain on the smart contract. So this is not coming from the Web2 API calls. This is actually retrieving it from the testnet smart contract that we have deployed. And as you can see, you have a last updated time also. So right now on the testnet for the hackathon, we have kept the interval at 20 minutes, but when we move to production, we'll reduce it further and optimize it to a minute frequency, right, at the least. And depending on as we scale up, once the project becomes financially viable, we could even reduce it further to make it even more real-time and accessible, right? So currently we have supported 11 tokens. So NEO, Gas, Bitcoin, Ethereum, some of the top names we are fetching from multiple providers and aggregating on the smart contract. So all these prices are in USD. So we also plan to support Forex information so that you can get all these token prices in the fiat of your choice or your use, right? And yeah, so this is a high level about it. Now coming to sorry, I'll skip this part because I have mostly spoken about all of that. So now the economic model. So assuming a 1 minute frequency of updating the token prices, what we have observed on the testnet is roughly around 20 gas is consumed or spent in all the update transactions. So we have calculated that like the running of this project itself will consume 650 gas per month, including all the backend infrastructure, the client side data, right? So what we have done is we have priced the NFT at 30 gas. So this will give you subscription access to all the price feeds for a month. And so basically the break-even point would be roughly around 20 to 25 subscribers. So that is how we would scale and like reduce the burden on the individual DeFi projects, because otherwise they would have to spend this amount exclusively if they have to build it on their own, right? And we can obviously like keep investing on it to make it like integrate with more sources, make it more reliable, because we are exclusively focusing on that aspect, right? So some of the roadmap items is like, so the first version with like support of at least 15 to 20 crypto tokens and 5 to 10 top Forex information, we would launch it in roughly mid of Q3 after testing the reliability of all the providers, the platform, various other scenarios. And then, of course, in parallel, we would look at onboarding more DApps that would require price information real time, so that like when we launch, we have a set of users who are willing to try it, right, for their DApps and projects, right? And obviously, on an ongoing basis, as I mentioned, we'll keep expanding the support for tokens. We'll introduce Forex price feeds. And on the other side of the platform, we'll also focus on incorporating more price feed providers so that we don't exclusively control it. That is not our intent, because it's a very critical piece. And as many participants as we have, the more stability it will provide. So the end goal will be that we have a DAO formed to manage this project. So it will take care of various configurations, that how are the providers incentivized, what is the cost to subscribe to these price feeds, what is the threshold criteria and various configurations, and who gets to be a provider. So all those critical decision points and metrics can be controlled by a DAO, right? So that would be our eventual goal. So yeah, so we actually like looked at similar systems I mentioned about Chainlink, how they manage their price feed. So we have tried to follow a similar model, but optimized it for how Neo is built, because Neo has like certain native advantages which other platforms don't. So we have tried to leverage that to make it more effective. And yeah, we have explored similar other setups to build out the project. So you can check out the website. We have also like built a sample contract. So if you want to like consume these price feeds, so we have a tutorial like how you can go about accessing the price feeds, the whitelisting process, the NFT access, how do you actually make the contract call. So this is the actual contract call in C#. And how is the data sent? So as I mentioned, you will get the token name, the actual value, and the number of decimal places which we have adjusted. So all the sample code, all the tutorial is already provided. So someone can start using it right away on the testnet. So we have given the contract details as well. So if anyone wants to try it out or has some feedback, please feel free to reach out to me. We would love to like incorporate those feedbacks and make it even better. So thanks a lot for your time, everyone.
Thank you so much, Kinshuk. It sounds like very powerful project, and with your presentation, I think a lot of people will reach out to you if they already have the app with DeFi or NFT. And with that, we see two powerful platform and infrastructure for Findtruman and Feedio. Last of all, we will invite our last third project who have team of 3 presenting today. Hello guys, are you there?
Yes, we are.
Awesome.
Yes,
so awesome. Sounds energetic. Yeah. And just touch a little upon your projects. Everyone, this is a crypto betting platform. A crypto betting platform for esports. I think it is really interesting because they already built a very interesting name and the token called Asteroid on Planet X. So far, people can use Asteroid to token to betting to take bets on their interesting tournaments, and in the future everybody can create their own tournaments on Planet X. So why not let's just welcome team of three. Who is going to share the screen?
Hi, that'll be me.
Okay, great. Hand over
Let
to
me
you.
just share my screen. Awesome. Are you guys able to see?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Yatish, and I represent Planet X. I am here with my teammates, Brian and Ashish. Brian is our developer, and he's worked on our front end as well as our smart contract. And Ashish is our UI and UX expert that has helped us design our front end. And he's also helped with our presentation as well. So let's just jump in. So what is Planet X? Planet X is a crypto betting platform for esports and gaming. Planet X was created after we discovered a few problems with traditional crypto betting platforms. And we decided to create Planet X to address those issues. So the three problems that we uncovered were: one, the cost of fraud in the gambling and betting industry is on the increase. Problem two, there's lack of transparency when using fiat currencies for betting. And problem three, gambling and betting with fiat currencies outlawed or tightly regulated in few countries, or in quite a few countries, in fact. So we created Planet X to address those issues. So with regards to our vision for Planet X is to create a fun and trustworthy betting platform for esports gaming enthusiasts. And if you take a look at our site, you will see it's got that fun and vibey feel to it. So our goal for Planet X is to target two distinct groups of individuals. So target market one is for professional esports gamers to view live tournaments and to place bets on those tournaments with crypto. Target market two is for amateur and non-professional gamers. Our typical audience that we plan to represent are people between the ages of 18 to 45, those who are either amateur gamers or pro gamers. And the pain points which we are hoping to alleviate are those of gambling restrictions in some countries, as well as scams within the esports betting industry. We have noticed that scams and fraud within the esports gaming category is on the rise. So henceforth, we created Planet X to combat those issues. And if you look at the size of the market for esports at the moment, the global esports revenues for 2021 was 1 billion, and that was a year-on-year growth of 14.5%, and that was up from 947 million in 2020. And the figures for 2022 is expected to increase substantially. So within the esports betting and gaming industry for crypto, there are two competitors at the moment, and those are GGBet and Thunderbet. So the difference between our competitors and us is that our competitors offer a fiat-first approach without any transparency. So by us putting our esports betting platform onto the Neo blockchain, we are offering further transparency. So our logic and all our smart contracts are all published onto the Neo blockchain. And some of the current esports betting platforms are not available to lots of people across the world. And additionally, they do not cater for amateur and non-professional gamers. So what makes Planet X different from our competitors? Well, our entire platform is built on the basis of cryptocurrency first and our Asteroid Neo token. Our platform is easy to use and built user-friendly. Transparency is incorporated on all decisions, so users do not feel like they are being scammed. Okay, so before I run into the demo, this is what our user interface currently looks like. And in terms of our architecture, this is how we have built our application at the moment. So we have our user makes a purchase via the Asteroid contract. The Asteroid contract sends the Astro token to the betting manager in the contract to place the bet. The betting manager, which is a smart contract, sends a betting slip to the storage of the smart contract. And then it goes down to the betting manager, then sends a smart contract that makes an HTTP request to an external esports gaming API to fetch the data that we require. And that data is then sent via HTTP, and then the winning slip is then sent to the user, and the user gets credited for his winnings. So what makes Planet X different from our competitors? We will be employing the Asteroid token for placing bets to minimize user transaction fees. And our Asteroid token will be tradable on any DeFi platform for transparency. So our revenue model, how we're going to keep ourselves going and how we're going to obtain revenue. So we will be collecting a small portion of all bets placed on our platform. We will also collect a small percentage from all winning tournaments and games. And we also plan to collaborate with pro esports teams and games for closed group tournaments. And then what we could do additionally with that is we could create NFTs that would give our users exclusive access to games, to tournaments. Okay, so in terms of our roadmap, this is how we have planned to launch. So Q2 of 2022, we'll be launching a working DApp. And then Q3 of 2022, we'll be expanding our games catalog. So currently we only support a few games within our gaming catalog. And then we would also be listing our token on the exchanges. And further to that, we will be collaborating with esports teams. And then Q4 of 2022, we'll be adding all the major games, so we can reach a vast audience. And in terms of our team, this is ourselves. That's me, Yatish Ramori, the creator, Brian Lemba, who's the developer and our blockchain developer, and Ashish, who's our UI and UX expert. Okay, so let me just hand you over to Brian, who's going to do our demo.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can, right?
Okay. Yes, so this is the app, and testing first, when you get to the homepage, you see the where you can connect to the new wallet. And then at the bottom here, you can see the trending games. So these trending games are being fetched using the Neo Oracle service. And we are not storing any, the idea is that we shouldn't be storing any of this data in our database. So first thing, you connect to the Neo. I'm connected right now. And after you connect to the Neo, now you're able to see which game that you'd like to bet on and the details of the game. And when you go to the X, you go to this betting page. So this is where you're going to place your bet. So here, what you need is the Astro token in order to make the bet. And once you are satisfied with the game, you press the bet. Sorry. So select the wallet and connect, then place the bet, and it's going to ask you to sign. So for now, the Astro token wasn't up running for this demo. So what we're using is we're using gas instead. So for you to place a bet, it's going to check if you put some gas in your wallet, and then once you've got enough gas, you're able to place the bet. And once you place the bet, this is going to say this, bet placed successfully, and yeah, you are good to go. So if you want to check the results of your bet, what's happening is that you have to make a request using the Neo Oracle service. So the Neo Oracle service is going to send an outbound HTTP request to the eSport API. So the eSport API is going to determine whether you won or you lost. So once you win, you're going to be credited automatically, and you don't have to wait. And once you lose, you just get the gas. You just get the gas fees that are required for making this request using the Oracle. So I'm gonna change my wallet here to something that doesn't have any gas. So here we're gonna go to a no-fund wallet. Then I'm gonna go connect it again. Let's connect. Connect. So once I connect, I go to the betting page, and in this wallet, I don't have any gas in it, so I won't be able to place a bet. So if I do place bet, just a moment. Connect. When I place the bet, it's going to say you don't have enough Astro token. So this is because in this wallet there's no gas, it's got 0. So that's the demo. And I also want to mention that once you place this bet, and once the results for the esports are out, you'll be able to check the results using the Oracle Neo service. So this all happens automatically because the way the Neo Oracle service, it's very hard for you to even like forge the results of the game. Because how the Neo Oracle service works is that it works with multiple nodes, and then all those nodes, they have to agree on the results of the HTTP response. And once you place a bet, you sure that when you check for the results won't be tampered with, and you get your win automatically if the esport game that you placed a bet on was won and stuff like that. So so that's it for the demo. I don't know if Yatish, if you have anything to add on, or Ashish. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
everything
Brian.
sounds good. Yeah, thank you, Brian.
Yeah. I'm done from my side as well. Our presentation is done. We were short and sweet.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you guys. This is very thorough presentation. So we have our 3 projects all presented for today, and anyone who has questions, you can just type on the live chat on YouTube so I can see your questions. I think King Shuk already answered a lot of questions, and there is one for Findtruman.io. Leon, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, what's the question?
Awesome. Okay, one of our audience called Exit Plan says, how will players be incentivized to play the games and continue using the platform?
There are 2 ways the players can get incentives. The first way is they participate in the co-creation procedure of the platform, which means there are writers, there are professional writers who initiate a basic storyline, and we encourage the community members to contribute their ideas, contribute their thoughts about the storyline, or maybe the description of different roles in this storyline. And in this way, they can get some kind of incentives in form of maybe in the future in form of token. And this is the first way. And the second way is they play the game created in our UGC platform. And once they finish all these tasks, there will be some kind of bounty in this game, and they can get part of the bounty as incentive if they can finish the search of the collection of all the clues and find out the killer of the murder. This is two basic way the players can get incentives.
This is really interesting because players in Findtruman are not only creators, but not only players, but also creators. They will be rewarded in ways of tokens and also other bounties. So I think Leo answers very well to exit plan. I think there are a lot of people online, and any other questions? Is there anyone on Discord I didn't catch?
Hi, Catherine. I think there was
Yes.
there's a question from somebody. Let me just see if I can find it.
For sure.
The question is, how can you assure the fairness for each gambling? Ashish, you want to take that?
I'll go ahead on it. So we will assure our fairness in each gambling by making ourselves transparent, following the footsteps of Web 3.0 that allows us to have as much transparency as possible while using decentralizing ways. And in the end, hopefully we can incorporate a DAO in it to make it as open source as we can.
Okay. So just to add on what Yashish said, also on the transparency part, the betting manager contract will be open source, so everybody will be able to see what's going on with the betting manager contract. And also the DApp itself, it will be open sourced, and all the transactions that will be going on, all the bettings and all the wins and all the losses will be very transparent on the blockchain, so everybody will be able to see what's going on with that. Everything.
Awesome. I love the transparency on blockchain, and especially on betting platforms like you. Yeah, I think Kinshuk already asked one before, right? And guys, also I will leave like 2 minutes for more people to ask. And meanwhile, I will say like this is a really great presentation today. There will be 2 more this week. I will be the host for tomorrow also, same time. There will be 3 projects presenting just like today. And if you have any questions, want to reach out the leaders and founders of these projects, please go to polaris.neo.org to see and contact them and read the details of their projects. They are really amazing builders on Neo. Yeah, and for this hackathon, we have so many participants, and some of them join the plantation and some of them complete on the final round, and all of them doing great and helping each other. This is really lovely community we've seen here. 1 more minute for the guys to type the questions. I see a lot of appreciations and compliments to you guys. So you really did a great job tonight. Yes, if you cannot find the Polaris Hackathon page, you can just go to neo.org page. There is a quick link to the hackathon page, and you can go to each project that post to read their open source. We'll be happy to help. And thank you all the judges and community members to watch the presentation today.
Thanks, everyone. It was great meeting all the other teams.
Yeah, me too. Pleasure is
you.
mine. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Guys.